What's going on, nation? I'm here once again with Mike Rosa from the Anabolic Aliens. Today we're going to be talking about deadlifts, increasing your strength by eliminating your weakness. You guys have already seen the bench video, you've already seen the overhead press video. If you haven't, I'll put links to those right here. And this is all part of Mike's compound corruption program, which you can find by clicking this link, and Mike's going to explain to you right now.
So the Compound Corruption Program is a powerlifting program for strength building designed to increase all 4 compound lifts, which are squat, deadlift, bench, and overhead press.
And these videos right here are explaining what you're doing on each day to make sure you have no questions, you know exactly what form to use. And so today we're going to talk about deadlifts, and we're going to explain all 3 days.
Alright, so if you're following the program Compound Corruption, this you'll be doing on Mondays. So the deadlift we'll be doing today is the one you want to work your strongest points at. So for me, conventional deadlift is my strongest. But if you like sumo better, then sumo is the deadlift you should be doing today. But since I'm stronger conventionally, that's the one I'll be doing today because we're going to be trying to increase our 1 rep max each week on that strongest lift.
And I'm the same way, I'm more of a conventional lifter. Alright, so Mike, let's go over proper form real quick. So obviously, if you guys have any questions about proper form on how to perform a deadlift, I'll put a link to this video over here. It has a lot of great tips for you. But Mike, why don't you show them real quick conventional deadlift and what they should be looking out for.
Alright, I set up my feet really close for these, and I keep my arms, try to keep my shoulders as long as possible so it's a shorter range of motion to go. Squeeze my rear deltoids, getting low, and then coming up.
Now guys, also, you know, it's okay to change your form when doing your deadlift, and it might change throughout time as you do it more and more, especially as you're doing Mike's program. I mean, even for me, my foot stance went from really close to really wide, and now it kind of falls somewhere in the middle. So take the opportunity during this program to play with your form a little bit to see what works best for you. On day 2 of Compound Corruption, which is going to be Wednesday, like we said, you're going to work the other lifts. So if you do conventional on Monday, on day 2 you're doing sumo. So for the sumo deadlift, get a nice wide stance just like this. I like to point my toes out a bit. And when you reach down and grab the bar, you want to keep your arms basically as straight as you can. That way you eliminate as much range of motion you have to move that bar. Then also you want to try to dip your shoulders down. Don't roll over like this, keep them neutral, and then reach down and grab the bar like that. So come down, head up, push through your glutes, squeeze, come to the top.
We're doing this as a variation to our strongest lift. So we're using some higher reps to work the variation. This will help us increase the strong lift we want to focus on.
Now on day 3, which is going to be Friday, you can choose to do one of 2 options. You can do a deficit or a rack pull, depending on what needs more work. And so Mike's going to demonstrate for you guys a deficit right now.
Alright, so since my lower point on my deadlift is weaker, I'm going to be focused on coming from a lower point on the ground, which is going to help me get the bar off the floor better. So I'm coming all the way up from the bottom, and it's going to work that lower half of my deadlift.
Now, if you guys have never done a deficit deadlift before, I do have a video you can check out right here. There are some key points you want to keep in mind to make sure that when you're in a down position, you don't run into flexion or rounding of your lower back. And you also want to make sure you don't start off on too high of a deficit. If you've never done it before, start as low as you can, maybe 1 inch, and then work your way up from there. The other variation we're going to show you guys is the rack pull. Now for this exercise, make sure when you set it up that the barbell is just below your kneecaps, and you also want to make sure you're using the same form that you would do when doing the conventional deadlift. It's not going to help you if on a conventional deadlift you set up a certain way, then when you go do your rack pull, you set up a totally different way. The whole point of this is to improve the conventional deadlift, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so I'll demonstrate some reps and you can give a few more tips so the community knows what to look out for.
Alright guys, so the rack pull is actually working your back a lot more, while the deficit was working your hamstrings more. The deficit was working the lower half of the deadlift, and now the rack pull is going to be working the upper half, which is the lockout. So if you struggle with your lockout, this is the exercise you should be doing on day 3. Keep your rear deltoid squeezed tight, and keep that form like Scott said.
Really flex those glutes as you bring it up. Really focus on the upper part of the movement here, and you're going to find yourself increasing your deadlift in no time. Now, if you guys haven't seen the other videos released in this series to increase strength by eliminating weakness, I'll put links to those in the info section below. If you haven't seen the program Compound Corruption done by Mike, I'll put a link to that over here as well. And as always, guys, more good stuff coming soon.